Hey everybody, welcome to Otto's Retirement Corner. Today I want to talk about a Congressional Republican plan for Social Security. And this is from the Republican Study Committee. It's made up of 179 Republican congressional members. Now, that's a great deal of the total percentage of Republican congressmen and women. And while this is sort of a wish list, I think it's indicative of what we can kind of expect from the Republicans as they negotiate with the Democrats any sort of solution to the Social Security Trust Fund problem. Now, let's be clear here that this was part of a 184-page screed, if you will, of their wish lists of things they want and things they're going to do or things they want to do. Unfortunately, it was also filled with lies, misstatements, disingenuous stances, misleading statements. It's sad on one hand. You can understand the things they want to do. Just the way they presented it was extremely unprofessional. It makes me sad. It makes you realize how difficult it's going to be for them to agree with the Democrats. And I'm not saying the Democrats are any better, but I mean, this was just bad. Every catchphrase, every conspiracy theory you can imagine was in this 184. I didn't read the whole thing. I read, everything about Social Security and Medicare. We'll cover Medicare another time. And I read other parts of it. Some of their goals are all right. Their main goal is to have a balanced budget in 5 years without cutting defense. So, if you could do that, fine. I don't know how you do that, but, more power to them. So let's talk about, this is the part about Social Security. You can see the way they phrase this. Instead of, hey, our solution to solving Social Security issues, it's preventing Biden's cuts to Social Security. Well, the first thing is there are no Biden cuts to Social Security. And you can see in the media, this is the way they're focusing now. This is their talking point, that Biden's not going to do anything. So in essence, he's planning to cut Social Security benefits because when the trust fund runs dry in 9 to 10 years, there will be automatic cuts to Social Security. But the truth is, he did present a plan. The fact that they think it won't get through, they're saying, well, he presented a plan that he knows won't get approved, so his plan is to cut Social Security. It's disingenuous at best, and it's unfair. It's just wrong. All right, so I'm going to read a few lines from it and talk about what their goal is and what they're planning to do. So first off, retirement benefits that are currently structured cost more than the revenue streams that pay for them. Yeah, that's true. We all know that. For the last 3 years, they've had to use funds from the trust fund to make up that shortfall. It's paying about 5% of benefits right now from the trust fund. And in 9 to 10 years, it'll be up to about 23% when it runs dry. And that will be the cut to Social Security benefits. Absolutely true. So then they go on to say, ignoring this fact, as the Biden administration and congressional Democrats have, will lead to the largest across-the-board cuts to Social Security retirement benefits in history. Well, first of all, there's never been a cut to benefits in history, so any cut would be the largest. And again, this is the disingenuous part. It's like, hey, cuts happen all the time, but this one's huge. That's not happening. Democrats haven't been ignoring them. Biden hasn't been ignoring them. He's put out a 4-point plan. Several Democrats have put out plans. And if you're going to say that, well, then give us your plan. Where are the Republicans' plans? So, if they're guilty, you're guilty. Where are the plans? Where are the bills? Where are the votes? All right. So then we got Biden vaguely advocates for increasing taxes on high-income Americans. Well, he doesn't vaguely advocate it. He's got a plan out there. And we may talk about that a little bit. So, but fills the remaining section with proposals to increase the program's spending. So yeah, so here they're saying, at first they said no, he has no plan. Now they're saying, oh, he does have a plan, but it'll increase taxes and it'll hurt Americans. Actually, the taxes he calls for are for those people earning over $400,000 a year, not low-income Americans or not middle-class Americans. What else we got here? Inflation created by the reckless spending policies of President Biden and congressional Democrats have done vast damage to the trust fund solvency. Well, you have to make the case that somehow Biden caused inflation with reckless spending, because Congress approves all the spending, and Congress, especially now, includes Republicans. You can make the case that the Inflation Reduction Act was passed without the help of Republicans, but there's still no evidence that the Inflation Reduction Act caused inflation. Inflation has fallen since that, but there's actually no evidence that plan has helped. So it's sort of in between nebulous area where it neither helped inflation or caused inflation, but they're saying that to rile up their base instead of saying things that are true. So that's what they think has caused vast damage to the trust fund solvency. Well, we've seen this coming for decades, so make of it what you will. All right, so then we got, put simply, the reckless spending policy of President Biden and National Democrats will lead to and accelerate the timing of significant benefit cuts for seniors. Okay, again, it's congressional spending. It's not Democrat and Biden spending. All right. As inflation increases, COLA, cost of living adjustments, automatically adjust without congressional approval. That is true. The Biden inflation crisis is bankrupting Social Security at a faster rate. Again, show me that it's Biden inflation, and I'm sure I'll get 100 comments saying, yes, Biden caused inflation. Tell me how. Tell me how Biden caused inflation. Inflation around the world took off during COVID. The U.S. has recovered much faster than 90% of the developed nations in the world. So it was supply issues. It was some corporations maybe gouging. That's probably not as big as people say it is. But show me how Biden caused inflation. I'm not saying Biden did a lot to stop inflation. He did almost nothing. But tell me how he caused it. All right. So this. So does this mean that Republicans want Congress to reduce COLAs? If they think the COLAs are too high, what are they saying here? Do they want to reduce COLAs? I think that's something we have to worry about and look out for. So since President Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act of 1935, the program's size, scope, and costs have expanded tremendously. This includes the addition of disability benefits, dependents, and survivor benefits, and the incorporation of automatic cost of living adjustments. Absolutely 100% true. That's absolutely true. Things that are being spent on now from Social Security weren't planned, but our politicians saw that as a good thing and they did it. And it's wildly popular. President Biden is using scare tactics to falsely claim Republicans will slash benefits for current retirees. No, what he said is they'll slash benefits, and I think he's thinking more for future retirees. So they kind of misquote, they don't quote him, but they misphrase what he's trying to say. In fact, Joe Biden supported the reforms that led to Social Security's current structure. Yes, he did. When he was a senator, he was one of 88 senators who voted for a change in the Social Security Act in 1983 that increased the full retirement age and tax benefits. He was one of those people. There's no denying that. Not sure what they think that means, other than, maybe he has a propensity to want to hurt Social Security. The RSC budget, this is the RSC, this group, supports measures which ensure that Social Security benefits are paid to American citizens primarily residing in the United States. So this is an indication that they plan to cut off people who live abroad. Right now you can live in there's a list of countries you can live in and collect Social Security benefits. Maybe it's 30, 40 countries, mostly European, not all European, but mostly European. So you can move elsewhere and collect benefits, and now this is an indication that they want to stop that. All right, so they talk about in coming years the Congress and President will be forced to address the solvency of Social Security, and here's the the things they'll be forced to do: funding transfers from the general fund. Well, right now it's illegal for the government to contribute to Social Security. They can't use the general fund to put money into Social Security unless they drastically change all the Social Security laws. No one's suggesting that. No one wants to do that. They say this approach would effectively lock in enormous deficit spending that would expose taxpayers to more than $200 trillion of debt. Alternatively, it would pave the way for massive income increases. Well, probably. If you had a fund out of the general fund, that's exactly what it would do. But no one's suggesting that. No one's asking that. This is a straw man argument. They're presenting an argument that wasn't made and then arguing against it. So that's not true. America's over $34 trillion in debt, with nearly entire projected 2019 to 2033 estimate increase in deficit rising from blah, 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 trillion being driven by Social Security and Medicare shortfalls. Absolute lie. 100% lie. Nothing about Social Security or Medicare adds to the deficit. The government does not pay for it. There's no deficit spending. There's no money coming from the government. It's all employer and employee contributions. This is the biggest lie about Social Security, and they continue to push this. Ask yourself why. So, a debt-financed general fund transfers compounds the economic threat China poses as the second largest foreign holder of the U.S. debt. So what they're saying is, okay, we're going to pay for it out of the general fund, we're going to have to borrow money to do it, and China's going to buy those bonds, and they'll have more control over us. Well, China can buy treasury bonds whenever they want. They've actually been reducing by a few hundred billion, what they hold right now. So they can go out today and buy $1 trillion more. We don't have to offer more debt. They can go in the open market and buy it. There's nothing stopping China from buying our debt. It doesn't give them any control over us. There's nothing they can do to us because they hold that debt. It's just debt, and we pay them interest, and we pay them the principal on it when it matures, and that's the end of it. There's no control they have on us. People say, well, they'll unload that debt, and our interest rates will shoot up. Well, yeah, they can buy debt and unload it and take huge losses. I don't think it's in their interest to do that, and that they would want to do that. But there you go. So tax hikes, the other option often proposed by those on the left, is to raise payroll taxes. Yes, that's happened. Applying the payroll tax to all earnings would result in the largest increase in the U.S. history, fail to make Social Security solvent, and have the effect of eliminating job opportunities in the United States. Not sure how they get to that conclusion. So take that as you will. So, for example, President Biden has repeatedly promised that he will raise taxes on anyone making less than, he will not raise taxes on anyone making less than $400,000, and that his radical left-wing agenda, and then this is where, that's just a political statement, can be exclusively funded by higher taxes on individuals above that threshold. Now, then they make the statement, at best, this could only extend the OASI trust fund for a couple of years. And then they put references down here, and you can click on them and read the studies where they're getting this information. So I did that. So the study they cite is a 2001 study, which actually said Social Security Trust Fund would run dry in 2017, and they said if you took off the tax cap, it would only add a few more years. This is a 23-year-old study. It has nothing to do with it. And this is how disingenuous and dishonest this is. Yes, that was a study, but what does that have to do with this? Biden's plan, and one of the parts of his plan is to put payroll tax on people making over 400,000, so they would pay up to taxes on up to 168,000, wouldn't pay taxes on the amount between 168 and 400,000, and then over 400,000, whatever they make, they would pay that tax on. I haven't seen any solid studies other than 10, 20 years it might extend the program. It wouldn't solve the whole 75-year funding issue, but wow, 2001 tax study. Okay, so they're saying their budget is committed to protecting and strengthening Social Security for those who need it most. The RSC Budget and Spending Task Force cannot be more clear. We will not now or ever support cutting or delaying retirements for any senior in or near retirement. They do not define that. So what they're saying is if you're in retirement, you're safe. Near retirement, I don't know what that means. 60, 58, 57, 50, don't know. So it's up to them how they want to define that. All right, so for instance, the RSC budget would make modest changes to the primary insurance amount benefit formulas for individuals who are not near retirement. Again, what they're saying is they're lowering what the formula is for future benefits. So they're lowering benefits for those in the future, but they won't say what that near future is or what that future is. But again, this is their plan. It would also make modest adjustments to the retirement age for future retirees. Okay, they're going to raise the FRA. And we expect that, and it probably needs to be done, but define it. Is the FRA going to 68, 69, 70, 71? Where's your plan to take that? And who's it grandfather in and who doesn't it grandfather in? Okay, additionally, the RSC budget would promote trust fund solvency by increasing payroll taxes through pro-growth tax reform, pro-growth energy policies, work requirements that move Americans from welfare to work, the regulatory reforms that increase economic growth. That pro-growth tax reform is basically, we're going to keep cutting taxes, and that will make the economy grow faster. People will make more money and end up paying more taxes in the overall dollar amount, but will reduce the rate. That's not proven to work so far, but that's their agenda, and we know that. So there it is. I went a little long. I'm sorry. There was a whole lot more I could have covered here. Tell me what you think about this plan. Tell me what you think we should do, shouldn't do. Like the video, please. Subscribe. Comment. Thanks. See you later. Bye.